Hey guys, my name is Noah and this is Broken Arrow Bison. We've got the buffalo situated on another move here. It is a beautiful evening. The sun is just now setting over the ridge. We have tomorrow's setup here and tomorrow evening's setup, and this is going to be where they're at for tonight and most of tomorrow till about this time tomorrow evening. I told you last update that I was going to put them on a half acre and do it 2 strands. Well, as you can see, it's not exactly what this is. Got to thinking about it and decided that now was as good a time as any to try to neck them down into some smaller pastures. So this is a 1/4 acre here. And so is this tomorrow's setup. So this is the smallest setup that I've had them on thus far. So there's 28 animals. They're not all mature. There are some mature animals mixed in with some of the smaller calves you can see over here on a 1/4 acre. And so since we necked them down like this, I decided to put in a T-post on the corner. And then there's 1 or 2 T-posts down here, just really loose, loose enough that I can get them out fairly easily tomorrow. And then just put some insulator clips on here on the end. And that way, this gets me at the height the exterior fence is. So this is, I'm 5'8", 5'9". My wife says I'm 5'8", but this is about collarbone height. So I figured if they're going to be pressured down, they're going to have a lot more temptation to jump than normal. So I don't want them to see over the fence. If they can see over it, they have the temptation to jump. This is not a permanent situation. I don't want to be putting in T-posts every evening. It's not that much of a pain, but you got the T-post hammer to hold with you. It's just cumbersome. So if this does work and we do have to have a higher system, I will find some taller fiberglass posts, but I want to see if this works first. So just doing some trial and error right now. So really want to kind of address, like, what are we doing here and why? Like, why are we trying to neck down buffalo to a 1/4 acre a day? And honestly, I'm trying to get even smaller than that. I would like to get under a 1/4, depending upon the grass. But as you can see here, we went on to some really nice prairie. And that's one of the reasons why I'm necking them down here, because some really lush prairie that they've got plenty for one day. So I'd like to see that all trampled as best as I can and eaten down about 50%. So getting back to what I was saying before, what are we doing here and why? Well, we are doing what's called regenerative agriculture. Some people call it holistic management. I grew up with my mom, who was really big into organic gardening before it was cool. And so that's kind of my history. I have to say that I pushed back when I got to my teen years and early 20s, and I've come back around. I've seen the light, I guess you could say. And there's a lot of different reasons why no chemicals are the better option, and we can get into those later. But what this does, in essence, putting these guys on such a small pasture like this, is it creates impact on the grass. The grass gets eaten down more evenly since they're just in that one spot. If they were in there and here or throughout the field, they would want to pick their favorite grass and then move on. And so the favorite grass, the best grass, would get eaten down to the nub and keep getting eaten down until it's in really bad shape. And then the weeds wouldn't get eaten, and then they would overpower the grass. And that's what we see in today's agriculture, is throwing them out onto a field like this and letting them go. And as majestic as they look out there, the fact is we do not have predators for them. There are coyotes around here, which are no match. These guys are no match for coyotes, or vice versa, I should say. But they tend to spread out, you know. Before we settled here, they would stay in clumps. They had predators, and they would move from spot to spot, and things would get eaten down. So all this is doing is mimicking what the buffalo did 150 years ago. So the grass gets eaten down how it should, and then the remaining grass gets trampled, and it feeds the biology in the soil. And so the microbes in the soil get to eat, and the earthworms get to eat all that trampled down grass, and they get all the manure spread across. So it's a beautiful, beautiful system, how God designed it. So all we're doing here is just trying to kind of mimic how God designed it before we settled out on this prairie, beautiful prairie, and put in all of these fences. And if all of the fences were open and you had buffalo that all congregated together, then we wouldn't need this system. But that's not what we have. And so we will do our best to mimic this. So they seem a little uneasy that they're on such a small area, but I think they'll be all right. So wish me luck. I'm getting my water tank filled up right now up at the cabin. That's another thing that I'm learning, this system, trying to figure out where to run the water lines and everything. And so right now, while I don't have water lines run, I've just been pulling a tank up near the pasture and then running a tank right beside it. And eventually, once we can figure this out, then we will be able to figure out where the water lines need to go. But I won't be able to figure out where the water lines need to go until I figure out what size system this land is going to be able to hold, 80 acres and this many animals. And so how many pastures it will hold. So there's not anyone else that I know of that is trying something like this with buffalo, mob grazing buffalo. There's guys that have rotationally grazed them. Ted Turner has some information on lightly mob grazing, I should say. I don't think you could even call it mob grazing, but rotationally grazing, intensive grazing. But there's nobody that I know of that is squeezing them down this tight, and there probably is for good reason, because this is definitely a learning curve. So if you guys know of anyone else, love to hear about them. Love to be able to get connected, and a lot of the information that I'm putting out will hopefully help other buffalo producers in their management of doing the same thing. Hopefully we can learn together. So hope you guys are having a great day. My name is Noah. This is Broken Arrow Bison, and we'll see you next time.